Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. So today I would like to give you something to contemplate. A language pattern that has helped many people, including myself. And that is changing the phrase, I have to I get to. So this is one of those times where I'm going to use my chicken coop as an example in this process because I think it fits perfectly. I don't have to take care of my chickens. I get to take care of my chickens. And if you think about that for a second, how many times in a day do we use that phrase, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go do the laundry. I have to make my bed. I have to finish this letter. I have to get rid of these emails. And it feels daunting, doesn't it? I mean, just hearing me say it, when you have your list of I have tos, it's just it's awful. And it drives us crazy because we feel like we've got this perpetual list that we have to check everything off of. And God, I know I'm a list person. I love lists. I love making them, crossing things off. But sometimes it's just over the moon and I can't take it. So years ago, I learned this process of saying, instead of saying I have to, I use the word I get to. And my chicken coop is one of those things. I have lots of people in my life, lots of friends who say to me, my God, how do you have the time to do this? How do you have the time to take care of them? And I don't it's not about that for me. I get to take care of them. And I genuinely mean that. I love taking care of them. And they are not a small amount of work. I mean, I assume, I love my animals a lot. And are they spoiled? Yes. Does that make it more work for me? Yeah. And I don't care because I like really taking care of them. So I spend time out here cleaning up for them, making it nice for them, changing their environment all the time, even though they get to free range and they're outside of their coop and their run a lot. The inside of their run, they spend a fair amount of time in because they like it. And I change it around and my husband changes it around. And we're constantly putting new things in here for them to explore and do. And they just like it. So I don't look at it like I have to take care of them. I look at it like I get to take care of them. I don't look at my laundry piles like I have to do laundry. I say I get to do laundry because guess what? My son is not going to be here he's 13. He's not going to be here for a whole lot longer in our house. My daughter, same thing. She was gone. Now she's 26 years old, and I don't get to do her laundry anymore. I don't have the pleasure of having that happen anymore. And some of you are probably laughing, going, is that really a pleasure? Well, when you start to connect the dots differently, it is, because when the laundry represents the person being there, you start to appreciate the person a little bit more. When you start to think of things like doing dishes, I have to do the dishes. No, I get to do the dishes, and that represents the fact that I got to have dinner with my family. It changes the perspective. It starts to allow us to appreciate things on a totally different level. But we have to actually have the cognitive awareness to pull that in and say, I have to change this language pattern. So first step in this is always, as you know, any of you who have been around for a bit and listening to this with me, I'm going to tell you, you've got to go off and explore this in your head. You've got to see how many times a day do I say the words I have to. And I think the best way to do this exercise is to actually grab a pad and write it all down. Actually sit there and say to yourself, okay, every time I say the words I have to, I want to capture this and put it on a pad. Or you can capture it in the notes on your phone or wherever else you like to do it. But figure out how many times a day you're saying that. And you'll be shocked when you do. I promise. Because if you really do a great job and you keep track of it, it'll be amazed at how much you feel like you're being pulled to do things that you're forcing. And the truth is, they don't have to feel that way. When you reframe it and you start to think of things in a little bit of a different way, it doesn't feel so unpleasant. It doesn't feel so awful. And you might be asking yourself, well, why the heck do I care about doing this? Well, Because in the big scheme of things, in our big psychological vortex that we have, it creates an energy. And that underlying energy is everything. So if we have created something that's negative or doesn't feel great or is pulling us in a certain direction consistently, that becomes our point of attraction. That becomes the driver of the bus, if you will. That becomes how we see the entire world. And before you know it, you're just a cranky old person who's miserable and nobody wants to talk to you and nobody wants to hang around you. And nobody wants to be that person. So this is where it begins. And also, if you do this, this is where it ends. So the powerful part here is to start and think about this. Search it out in yourself. Don't be that person. Be the person that everybody is saying, gosh, that, here is this soul that just adds so much to my life. Be the person that adds the value for other people. I promise you, you will feel incredibly wonderful when you do that. But you've got to start with yourself and do that inside. So, have a blessed day, my friends, and I will see you tomorrow.